Welcome back. So as stated earlier, the inflation in the time of the Bible, mostly in the Old Testament, there are a number of inflations that shows how the prices of goods have increased instead of more than the usual prices. So in the Bible, inflation, as we said, inflation was caused by mostly by the siege of the city. In 2 King chapter 6, it is said that the king of Aram, named Ben-Hadad, marched up with his entire army and led to Samaria. There was a great famine in the city as the siege lasted for long, and the prices of goods increased in such a way that a donkey's head was sold for 8 shekels of silver, and a quarter of cab of seed pods was sold for 5 shekels. Food was unaffordable to the extent that the king was passing by. A woman approached him and explained a problem to him where they agreed, she and another woman agreed to eat their children. They ate her son, and now the other woman refuses to share her son. So the king, as he heard that, he teared his clothes. You see, to the extent, and there are curses in Deuteronomy where the Lord says that you will eat the flesh of your children. Here in the Bible, the inflation was mainly caused by a siege. In this condition, where the head of a donkey, the price has increased. But there are many other causes of the rise of prices in the Bible. For example, in Ezekiel 45, chapter 45, the Lord blames the princes of Israel for oppressing the people of Israel and doing violence to them. The princes do not use accurate scales, accurate ephah, and accurate bath. These are all measure of unit of measures. Because the ephah and the bath are supposed to be the same size. One bath contains 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah also is supposed to contain 1/10 of a homer, the homer being the standard measure for both. The shekel is to consist of 20 gerad. To make a mina, you need 20 shekels plus 25 shekels plus 15 shekels. All these measures were supposed to be followed up exactly. In Leviticus 19, the Lord commands not to use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or quantity. In Leviticus already, they knew about length, weight, and quantity, those measures. They knew how to calculate them. In Deuteronomy 25, verses 13 to 15 say the law says that the Lord forbids dishonest standards, and he encourages honest standards. In Isaiah 1, chapter 2, chapter 1, verses 21 to 23, the Lord exposes the dishonesty of the people of Judah. The princes and the city have turned from justice, from faithfulness, from righteousness, to practice dishonesty, unfaithfulness, unfairness, and the prince have rebelled against the right way, the right ways of the Lord, to become companions of thieves. Everyone in the city loves bribes, and they no longer defend the fatherless and the widow. They no longer defend fatherless and widow. So, as we said today, that when the supply is reduced, nowadays in our market economy, and say in the capitalism, list market and all that, inflation occurs when the supply, the money available is higher than the supply. I mean, the supply available, the money people have is higher, so they practice inflation to maintain profit. Because during inflation, company tend not to make profit because they have a reduced, limited supply available, and they tend to sell limited item per customer, because a customer can come and take all and other people will not have, so they have to make sure the highest number of people get the goods. So in the Bible, inflation was caused by the siege of a city, and that siege was, the purpose of the siege was to overtake the city. Earlier, from the beginning, we said a siege is a war tactic, a military technique to overtake a city that does not surrender easily. Usually when they take over the city, they take all the goods, things, the animals, the people, they take people as prisoners and all that. It has occurred in Israel. You see, it has occurred in Israel that people, the siege, all that. Yeah. In Israel, that the siege has done that to people. You see, and let's say they say that Ukraine's war has provoked inflation in many countries, which shows that somehow Russia was a great supplier, or Ukraine was a great supplier, one of them. I mean, because it is the supply chain that is being affected here, and many supply chains have been disturbed. Some people have discovered how they can make